The Wasp Factory. Chapter 7. Space Invaders. Part 3. The sand in the air slipped, fell back, splashed in the waters, and thudded in little heaps onto the roads and houses. The unleashed waters flooded out of the gap, smashing in the sand wall and rolled down, sucking sand from the edge of the breach and spilling in a sloped brown tide down upon the first village, cutting through it, piling up behind the next dam, backing up, collapsing sand houses, tipping the castle to the one side as a unit and undermining its already cracked towers. The bridge supports gave way, the wood slipped, fell in at one side. Then the dam started to spill over, and soon its whole top was awash and being eaten away by the flood still piling out of the first dam as the head of the water pushed forward from 50 meters or more back up the stream. The castle disintegrated, falling over. I left the jar and ran down the dune, exulting in the wave of water as it sped over the braided surface of the stream bed, hit houses, followed roads, ran through tunnels, then hit the last dam, quickly overwhelmed it and went on to smash into the rest of the houses grouped in the second village. Dams were disintegrating, houses slipped into the water, bridges and tunnels falling, and banks collapsing all over the place. A gorgeous feeling of excitement rose up in my stomach like a wave and settled in my throat as I thrilled to the watery havoc about me. I watched the wires wash and roll themselves to one side of the flood's course, then looked at the front of the racing water as it headed quickly for the sea over the long dried sand. I sat down opposite where the first village had been, where long brown humps of water surged, slowly advancing and waiting for the storm of water to subside. My legs crossed, my elbows on my knees, and my face in my hands. I felt warm and happy and slightly hungry. Eventually, when the stream was almost back to normal and there was virtually nothing left of my hours of work, I spotted what I was looking for, the black and silver wreck of the bomb striking, ripped and gnarled in the sand just downstream from the site of the dam I had destroyed. I did take my boots off, but with the tips of my toes still on the dry bank, walked with my hands until I was almost at full stretch out in the middle of the stream. I picked the remains of the bomb out of the stream bed, but its jagged body carefully into my mouth, then walked my hands back until I was able to throw myself back and stand up. I wiped the almost flat piece of metal with my rag from my war bag, put the bomb inside the bag, then collected the wasp jar, then went back to the house for tea. Leaping the stream just up from the highest point the waters had been backed up to. All our lives are symbols. Everything we do is part of a pattern. We have at least some say in it. The strong make their own patterns and influence other people's. The weak have their courses mapped out for them. The weak and unlucky and the stupid. The Wasp Factory is part of the pattern because it is part of life, and even more so part of death. Like life, it is complicated, so all the components are there. The reason it can answer questions is because every question is a start looking for an end. And the factory is about the end, death, no less. Keep your entrails and sticks and dice and books and birds and vices and pendants and all the rest of that crap. I have the factory, and it's about now. And it's about now and the future, not the past. I lay in bed that night knowing the factory was primed and ready and waiting for the wasp that crawled and felt his way about the jar that lay by my side. I thought the factory above me in the loft, and I waited for the phone to ring. The Wasp Factory is beautiful and deadly and perfect. It would give me some idea of what was going to happen. It would help me to know what to do, and after I had consulted it, I would try to contact Eric through the skull of old Saul. We are brothers, after all, even if only half so. And we are both men, even if I am only half so. At some deep level, we understand each other, even though he is mad and I am sane. We even had that link I had not thought of until recently, but which might come in useful now. We have both killed and used our heads to do it. It occurred to me then, as it has before, that is what men are really for. Both sexes can do one thing specially well. Women can give birth and men can kill. We, I consider myself an honorary man, are the harder sex. We strike out, push through, thrust and take. The fact that it is only an analog of all this sexual terminology I am capable of does not discourage me. I can feel in my bones, in my uncastrated genes, Eric must respond to that. 11 o'clock came, then midnight, and the time signal. So I turned the radio off and went to sleep.